बिन मानत नाही जियरा मोरा, तुम बिन मानत नाही जियरा मोरा, तुम बिन मानत नाही जियरा मोरा, तुम बिन मानत नाही। तुम बिन मानत नाही जियरा, कौन देस गवन कीनो कित हो जाय बसे, तुम बिन मानत नाही जियरा मोरा, तुम बिन मानत नाही जियरा मोरा, जियरा मोरा, जियरा आ आ आ तुम बिन मानत नाही जियरा मोरा। आ आ किन संग करत हो रंग रलिया, किन संग करत, किन संग आ आ किन संग करत हो रंग रलिया, प्राण दास गुनि दुख पावे, तुम बिन प्राण दास गुनि दुख पावे, तुम बिन मानत नाही जियरा मोरा, तुम बिन मानत नाही। आ आ आ तुम बिन मानत नाही, मानत नाही जियरा मोरा, मानत नाही जियरा मोरा, मानत नाही जियरा मोरा, तुम बिन मानत नाही जियरा मोरा, तुम बिन मानत नाही जियरा मोरा, तुम बिन मानत नाही जियरा मोरा। आ आ मानत नाही जियरा मोरा, तुम बिन मानत नाही जियरा, तुम बिन मानत नाही जियरा, कौन देस गवन कीनो कित हो जाय बसे, तुम बिन मानत नाही जियरा, मानत नाही जियरा, मानत नाही जियरा मोरा। Thank you.
Kya baat.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Manjiri. And I think what a better way to start this conversation with Manjiri Asanare Kelkar, and I would like to greet our viewers online and welcome them to this exciting and unique event hosted by the Fondazione Cini in Venice. And I have the pleasure and honor to introduce here three outstanding artists that have come from India. Manjiri Asanare Kelkar.
Namaste. Hello.
Renowned, world-famous khyal singer, who is in conversation with us this afternoon here at the Fondazione Cini, and who is going to perform tomorrow night at the Fondazione Cini in a concert that we're all very much looking for. And today and tomorrow, Manjiri is and will be accompanied by two outstanding musicians on tabla, Nitin Wariji, and on the harmonium, Dyaneshwar Sonawani. So welcome to all of you, and I am honored. Now I can say that I've sat on stage with Manjiri.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It's a unique pleasure.
Thank you.
And maybe we can start our conversation with maybe Manjiri, if you could give us a small introduction on your background and how you got into khyal, khyal being the genre, the vocal genre of which Manjiri is one of the leading artists nowadays.
Yes. Thank you, Laura, and thank you, Fondazione Cini, for inviting all of us to share our music with all of you. Music was in my family. My grandfather was a tabla player. My father used to play tabla. All of them, they were, their profession was different, but music was their priority, and they loved, everyone loved music in the house. So I inherited the tal and surs, all this from my father, my family. In the beginning, I learned my basics from Pandit Chintubua Maheshwar from Sangli. And then later on, I received a rigorous training, rigorous talim of my style, my gharana, from my Guruji, Pandit Madhusudan Kanetkarji. He was the disciple of Ustad Burji Khan Sahib. Burji Khan Sahib was the son of the Ustad Alladiyan Khan Sahib, the founder of Jaipur Atroli Gharana. I learned with him for nearly 18-20 years. And then for 2.5 years, I had a privilege to learn from one of India's greatest artist, singer, Gana Saraswati, Kishori Amonkar.
Which already puts you in a, you know, the lineage of your gharana, yes. Very, you know, world famous in itself.
Yes.
What I thought we might want to talk today is something about khyal, but also about your personal take on khyal. And I thought that it would be lovely, if you agree, to talk about how you relate to improvisation when you sing. I don't know if we want to start, for example, from the composition that Bandish you just presented.
Yes.
So maybe we can say a few words about that as a starting point.
Yes. The Bandish, the rag I presented just now is rag Multani, which is, and we sing, there is a time circle for Indian, for khyal singing. We sing those ragas in a particular time. So as it is afternoon, so I have selected rag Multani, which is an afternoon melody. And the composition is Chota Khyal. It's a small composition. Normally, as we know that there are two compositions, Bada Khyal, which is a longer version of Khyal, and Bandish, and this is a small version. This particular composition is composed by one of India's great musicians and composer, Pandit Jagannath Purohit, who takes his Gunidas is his name. The theme is basically the beloved is longing for her lover. The very common subject for Hindustani Khyal compositions. So she is longing for her lover, and Tuma bin manat nahi, she is missing him, and she doesn't know where is he and why doesn't he come to her. So this is the superficial, we can say this is the superficial meaning, but through this composition, Gunidas, it's a metaphor. Gunidas, it's a tribute to his guru. And he says that he is longing for his guru. And so this composition is a metaphor on the Guru-Shishya relation. So he must be missing his guru. He must not have seen him for a long time. And so he said, Dasaguni. And his Pranapiya is the name of his guru, Ustad Vilayat Khan Sahab. And he says that Prana Dasaguni Dukha Pave. I have deep in sorrow that I haven't met you. So this is the composition. Normally this is sung in tal, teen tal, but I feel I sang it in Addha teen tal, which is very comfortable, which is, I think this tal suits my personal feelings for this composition.
And may I ask you to elaborate more about this? So what is about this particular tal that you think is particularly suited to the mood of the composition?
Yeah, this composition is basically woman's feelings. And teen tal is I think, very strict, very rigid. But when we shift to Addha, it becomes a little bit more feminine. That's what I feel. So I feel the flow of this composition, I feel it very comfortable to relate to the feelings of given in this composition. So, and I can improvise with the words. Each word I can improvise, and each word has different shades of feelings. Tuma bina manatanai, I'm missing you. Jiera mora is what I am feeling. I am missing you, but I am missing you. All these words, they relate to a particular shade of that feeling of longing. So I feel that this tal is very appropriate for this composition.
That's very, very interesting, because we often talk about tal and the way that tal is structured and tal is developed, but this is not the first time that you talk to me about how tal is related to the mood.
Yeah, I'll just demonstrate once. The words Tuma bina manata nahi jiera mora. So Tuma bina is I'm missing you. So if I manata nahi jiera mora, Tuma bin manata nahi jiera मोरा तुम बिन मानत नाही जियरा मोरा तुम बिन मानत नाही. Now I'll improvise on the जियरा मोरा. तुम बिन मानत नाही जियरा मोरा तुम बिन मानत नाही जियरा मोरा तुम बिन मानत नाही जियरा मोरा तुम बिन मानत नाही जियरा. Though it's the language, it's Hindi language, but through my phrases, through my how do I produce, how do I approach that particular phrase with the words with the of that bandesh is the important thing, and that's how you get the meaning, get the feeling properly. It's not necessary that you must know the language Hindi, but still you get the feeling कि तुम बिन मानत नाही and मानत नाही जियरा मोरा. This is what.
And of course, the mood of the composition, how does it relate to the mood of the raga?
Yeah. Yes. It's a big theory that does a rag have a mood, particular mood. But what I feel is, traditionally these melodies or these ragas are established, and the rag particularly is when you sing the melody for a long time, so you get engrossed with the whole structure of the notes, with the structure of the melody, and then you start going into the feeling of the rag. But it's like emotions. When we think about emotions psychologically, there is no prominent, only one emotion that you get at one time. There is a spectrum of emotions. So similarly, I think when we think of the mood or the bhav of a rag, it doesn't stick. There is a particular mood, but still there is a spectrum. Happiness is not only happiness. It can come with a little sorrow. It can go to the extent of excitement. So especially this mood. So in different compositions, this mood, this spectrum, the bandishes, they select a spectrum of that particular mood of a rag. For example, as I have sung, this is a feeling of belonging. But now, in the next composition, the girl, there is another shade of Nayanana Anabana. She is a little bit worried that has her lover anybody else? Is he going to a different girl? So she's so when the composer composes a bandesh, he feels, and he selects the tal, he selects the words, he phrases according to that feeling. Nayanana mein aanubana. नैनन में आन बान, नैनन में आन बान, नैनन में आन बान, कौन सी परी रे, कौन सी परी रे, नैनन में बार बार सोवत पलकन लागत, जित देखो उत श्याम सी परे रे, नैनन में आन बान. So that the mood is changed a little. The mood is changed. Even when we sing a tarana, tarana doesn't have any meaningful words, but still there is a statement, there is a musical statement of that particular rag.
Yeah.
So this is how a composition, it depicts the mood of the rag. It's what I feel.
Thank you, Manjiri. So we have talked about the mood of the raga, how the melody of the bandish sits in this range, the spectrum. And you have mentioned how the mood relates to the tal. You already started talking about how you improvise on different words. Can you tell us a bit more? Can we talk a bit more about we talked about the tal now. If we look at melody and how you relate to the melodic aspect of the improvisation. So how once you establish the composition of the bandish, how, let's say, you move away and come back to it.
Okay. Theoretically, when we present a rag, so it's mainly a big bada khyal. It's a slow tempo composition, and then we move on to the chota khyal, the small composition, which is a fast tempo. When we start with the bada khyal, slow tempo composition, theoretically there are different parts of the presentation. First, we just introduce the rag without tal, with a small alap, very small alap. Then we introduce the bandish, the bandish has two parts, sthai, which is the lower octave part, and antara. And in my style, in our gharana, we sing sthai and antara in the beginning itself. In different gharanas, they have different, mostly when during the improvisation we go to the upper octave sa, they introduce the antara. But in my style, my gharana, it's we sing sthai and antara together, which gives because the reason might be because there are many complicated, many different rags in my gharana. So when we sing sthai and antara together, this is the complete structure of that particular melody, and we improvise within that melody. So it gives a complete picture to the listener. So we sing sthai and antara together. Then alap, which is basically in akar. And in between, we use the words of the composition bandish, which is bol alap. And then the tempo of, though the tempo of the bandish, tal is the same, while improvising, our speed little bit increases little by little. And then we go to the middle tempo, which connects to the alap to tan. So there is the middle part, and then we move on to the tan. And then we do the tans with the words, with the bol of that particular bandish. So this is the theoretical improvisation of a bada khyal.
So when you are, this is the structure, and it's very clear. When you're in a concert, how do you experience this improvisation when you present it to the audience? What goes on in your head, in a way?
Okay, interesting. When we present a rag, we just think of it. Sometimes mostly we practice it for the rag I select for a concert. I practice it for many days before the concert. But sometimes I select a rag just before the concert. Both ways. Sometimes it comes to your mind that I'm going to sing this rag now. Though I have practiced other rag for, it is very rare occasion, but still sometimes it comes from within that no, I'm going to sing this. As we tune the tanpura and in the green room, I start thinking about the basic phrases of basic structure of that rag, and then on the stage, first phrase is very important. I have to concentrate on the first sa, or the very initial phrase of that performance. And when I sing the bandish, I am very much comfortable, because now I know that yes, this is the whole structure, this is the whole canvas on which now I am going to paint. Then when I sing the bandish, I get the complete design with the tal, with the words of the bandish. And then gradually I move on from one swar to another swar. Then I develop that swar with different phrases. Sometimes I repeat those phrases. Sometimes sometimes what happens is not only gradual progression is necessary. Sometimes I directly move on to the nishad or upper sa, and then again come down to the basic sa. So this is how it comes.
So it comes with practice and
Absolutely.
at the same time the moment.
Yes.
And when you are when you're doing this on stage, how is this affected by your relationship with your accompanists?
It's a very important question and very, very important aspect of performance. Right from the initial moment on the stage, or even off the stage, from the green room, we start our journey together. We say that the journey is together, right from tuning the instruments. Nowadays, this is just a mechanical instrument, but all these instruments, tanpura, tabla, they have to be tuned. They are the acoustic instruments. And so as we tune the instrument, we start feeling the mood of the rag, the phrases of the rag, and then in the green room, we check the tempo, the lay, everything, and then the journey starts, and we travel together. And on the stage, don't look at each other. It just, we know, and this is what the importance of the accompanists also. They have to be very, very, very sensitive. They have to be very human, I say. They have to be very sensible, very caring, because even the main artist has to be very caring. All of us, they make the performance to succeed. So the relationship is very, what I can say is very important, very subtle. Sometimes I don't even need to tell him the lay. I just start and he gives the lay. Or I just start and he starts a small phrase. Or even when I stop in between. So the phrases he reproduces or he adds to that particular phrase, to that particular alap. So it gives me energy. Even the beats of the tabla give me energy. It's not just the beats, it is the energy, give and take of energy. So that's how the progression happens.
And this is a question that probably goes back in time. Your gurujis, your teachers, did they talk? I like the word that you used, that you talked about, I like two words that you used. One is the metaphor of the journey.
Yes.
That you have to take together. And the other one is the idea of being human.
Yeah.
And how much did your gurujis talk to you about these aspects? Or maybe your father, on how, or is it just something that you picked from your own relationship, or did it come out? Because these are strong images, they're very nice.
Yes. I am very fortunate that though my gurujis, they didn't talk, but they said so many things without speaking. I could see that what they want to express. It's not just teaching a rag or teaching a bandish, but the approach of my gurus. It was on such a high level that, and they were so. I mean, I can't express it in words, but my Guruji never talked. Even Kanetkar Guruji, he didn't say much. But he used to sing, I used to sing. He used to sing, but I used to travel with him. It was a long period I was with him. And even my father, he was a tabla player, and he used to accompany me. And that the word I used, energy, is I could see the energy in him. Not only that I was his daughter, but whenever he accompanied any other artist, he gave that the full energy. And with his wide smile, actually tomorrow is his 20th death anniversary. It's been a tribute. I am going to be giving a tribute to him. And thanks for Fondazione Cini to invite me to give him a big tribute.
That's
on
beautiful.
This. But the energy he used to give, even there are so many senior companies, senior artists, even these people, they are so, I have seen so many other artists also who are different, but I don't get connected to them. So, and my Guruji, even Kishori Tai, never said anything. But she used to, as she used to sit in front of us while teaching, and with her Swaramandal in her hands, and her eyes were closed all the time. But still, we could see, the Shishas could see that what she wanted to say, how she looked at each swar, how she loved music. Even my Guruji, they loved music from the bottom of their heart. So this is what I am really, really fortunate that I could experience the love for their art, true love for music. And that's how I inherited.
That's very beautiful. So, and I suppose that, every performance is a...
Yes, is a challenge.
A challenge and a way of honoring your gurus.
Yes, absolutely.
So thinking about how, again, if we go back to how you relate to the music and the practice and the improvisation, you were talking about each and every swaras, and so in a way, when you take a raga, you look at phrases, but you also look at swaras, and there are, of course, there are the raga rules, but
Yeah.
there is the scope for you to move there.
Yes, yes.
And how do you feel about this scope of movement? So, for example, I don't know, for Multani,
Yeah.
if you want to say something about maybe with the example of the bandish that you presented about.
Initially, when we learn a rag, particular rag, we learn about the rules of that particular rag. As we go on practicing the rag with on its own, without any bandish, the complete improvisation. That's the one way of practicing a rag. Said we just do alap. Then at that time we have to look at each swara, how it is pronounced, with what from which swar that particular swar comes. For example, now is one phrase, ma ga re sa, but it can be pronounced in thousands of ways. So, and as we go on, now the relation, when we practice, we see the relation of each swar with the other swar. For example, in each rag, the rules is a very broad concept, and just basic concept. But as we move on practicing, we see the shades of that particular swar, that shruti. But it's not, we can point out, this is the shruti. No. The shruti, the microtone changes a little bit with the influence of the note which is after that note, or the first note. So can be one, is tivrama, but it comes from, it gives the feeling that it's coming from dha. Now the tivra madhyam is the same, but it gives different feelings, light shades of feelings. So we have to look for such relations. Nima is the prominent relation in Rag Multani. Ma, ni, nima. So when we practice, we look at and we practice it. Once we find it, then we practice it. But when we sing, the creativity, it's up to the creativity. It's up to the improvisation at that point of, because it is extempore. It's not written anywhere. So every time you sing nima or mani, it can be different. It is different. And that is why we always say that so many times Kishori Tai sang Yaman. Every day it is different. But I say that every time she sings Yaman, every relation is different and every relation is beautiful. So this is how the practice, and then it's your creativity, it's your, and then again your attachment, uh, your uh, your power of relating, your sensitivity, it definitely is important.
And that is absolutely true and evident in performances.
Yes.
But can I ask you then another question, expanding in time this? So, for example, you sang now a composition in a bandish in Multani.
Huh.
And of course, if you sing it in 5 minutes, it will have a different nuance.
Yes.
But let's say, in a way, it's the way that you relate to Multani now.
Huh.
Do you think that your relation with a rag changes through time? So I'm talking about long time frame here. So from when you were younger and now that you feel more mature, both as an artist and as a human
person,
being, as a
yeah.
person, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. I feel the difference. When I learnt Multani, very initially when I was 10 or 12 years old, it was just a state, the ascending and descending order of that particular rag. Ni sa ga ma pa ma ga ma ga re sa, ni sa ga ma pa ni sa ni da pa ma ga re sa. Just and the important phrase ni sa ma ga re sa ga ma pa ga. Though I used to sing it very properly, but and then when I started learning with Appa Kanitkarji, that gave me another different perspective to look at a rag. When I started learning with him when I was 18, and as the age is very, I was very, I sang very fast tans, and the energy, I used a lot of energy in my singing. But I noticed that he was, at that time, he was 75, 76 years old. And he was, while he was singing, he used to sit just like that and go on for hours together without any effort, effortless singing. I could feel that. But as I was young, I felt that I must sing this tan, I must take this phrase, I must, the energy I had in me. I sang, at that time also I sang Multani, but again Appa gave me a different perspective, theoretically also, and as performer, how you should deal with the rag. But it's difficult to attach yourself to the mood, to the basic feeling of that rag or that composition. He was very strict, so the composition we used to practice, I mean, thousands of times. A bandish we used to practice for 3 hours, 4 hours daily. So the bandish was perfect, and as you repeat it, that continuous process starts giving you a feel of that melody, whatever rag it is. I mean, when I practiced Jaitashri or very complicated rags, but when I repeated the bandish for 1,000 times, it gave me an idea theoretically also, but gave me the idea of the complete structure, the structure of the mood in a bigger perspective. And then, but as you start working, you develop your thoughts. Again, when I sing or when I practice these rags or when I perform these ragas, I suddenly feel that this phrase Appa used to sing, and it suddenly comes to me, and it comes out of me. It's a surprise, but that feeling, that the phrase which I have heard for many years and the ease, it suddenly comes as a surprise, but I start getting to that rag, mood of the rag, now a bit more easily, sometimes. Sometimes. It's difficult. It's very difficult to express also, but now I feel I have just, I'm coming out of the only structural part of, and now I am traveling to the part of what I can say, musical part of rag, any rag.
I got another question. Is in this, well, it's also your journey as an
Yeah,
artist.
yeah, yeah,
If we
absolutely.
want to keep going with the metaphor of the journey. So Appaji, Kanetkarji has really shaped you as an artist over a long period of time. And how do you describe the more recent experience of learning from Kishoritai and how that, has contributed to your own journey?
When I started learning with Appa, as I said, I was just 18 years old, and I was very raw. And Appa had to be very strict. He was very, very strict. He taught me a composition with the tal, he was very strict on the particular matra the mukhda should begin. For example, in the 16 beats teen tal, the mukhda should be on the 13th beat only. Or whatever you do, how many times you practice the composition, but the mukhda should start on the 13th beat only. So he was strict, and then he used to teach me a bandish and then make me practice it for hours, and he would just go out from that room and return after 2 or 3 hours. So I used to repeat that, but it was necessary for my age. And then that way he taught me, that way he groomed me, and that technically he made me very strong. And he used to show me how it should be, how I should look at the presentation, how I should present a rag. But it was okay for my age. But when I went to Kishoritai, I was already an established artist. And she knew that I had, because her mother, Mogubai, they are all from the same lineage. So she knew that I have got a very strong talim. And she never said that you forget this and sing what I am singing. Because Kishoritai's singing is, though it is the strict Jaipur or Atroli Gharana singing, it's her own creativity, her own thing to look at the rag. And she never taught me like this, you just sing what I am singing. She just gave a hint, used to give a hint, and then she used to sing a particular rag, and we just followed her. But she never said that follow me. She always expected that I should give a complimentary phrase, a complimentary alap to her singing. So she tried to increase our creativity. So this is how, and as a woman, the sensitivity of a woman, I always saw the sensitivity of a woman, how she looked at music, how she looked at the swaras. She used to tell me that you must love the swaras as you love your daughter. So it's the belonging, and then only the rag, the swar, they can talk to you. These are all very absurd things to experience. These are not things to be taught like that. And the same thing, I now feel that Appa, when he used to sing, I used to feel the same things. He always told me, don't make any gimmicks. Simple singing, simple phrases, but intense. So that gives an impact to the audience also, and it keeps an impact on you as an artist.
You preempted my next question, which was about, learning from a man and learning from a woman. So you already covered that question. I will just...
I'll just add one thing. That, I mean, learning from a man and learning from a woman, though they were very sensitive. My Guruji, when he used to sing Thumri Dadra, and he was very much influenced by Begum Akhtar. But when he used to sing, I wouldn't feel that it's a man singing. The expression of his singing was that of a woman. But I came to know, I realized this, that the feeling, how to look at the feeling, when I went to Kishori Tai.
That's good. That's very, very clear. I think I've got just time for one last question. And if it's okay, I would like to go back to the bandish that you sang us, the first one. In all this talking about your life and your experiences, do you remember when you learned this particular bandish?
Yes. I learned this bandish in my initial stages when I was 10, 12 years from Maiskar Bua, Chintu Bua Maiskar. And then again, I learned this bandish from Appa also. So when I learned this initially, it was just a composition, and there were initial fixed alaps, fixed tans initially. But then as Appa used to sing, and I started again, learnt it with him.
So when you sing, this is I mean, I talk about the bandish, but probably this is a broader question about your singing. Because it's very complex, and this is something that comes back in the discourse with many Hindustani artists. So when you sing tomorrow evening here at the Fondazione Cini, what are we going to see? We see a raga, we see Manjiri, we see Kanetkarji, we see all of our gurus. We see a team.
Yes, absolutely.
What do we see tomorrow?
I think everything.
Everything, okay.
It's a team, and it's one entity, complete.
So we also see all of
Yes.
their own gurus
Yes.
coming in.
Yes, absolutely. Because they are also shishyas of very esteemed gurus. So,
So I suppose we look forward to that. And I could go on for much longer, but I think we can maybe now do it off camera.
yes.
And I would really like to thank you all so much. And again, thanks a lot, the Fondazione Cini, for giving us this opportunity
Yes.
to sit together on stage.
Yes. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you so much.